consultant $110,000, food service consultant $100,000, retail consultant $50,000, water feature consultant $75,000, and on and on. MEPFP consultants, I don't know what that is, $2,229,000. The problem is that the county has said to you, you get the money, we'll give you the money. So why cannot we in the city, which we are the poor one, say to you, well, when you raise, not commitment, when you have it in the bank, your $100 million, come back and we'll give you the $2 million.
Because if you do that, this project will never get started, because you cannot have a project that is totally raised with fundraising before you can show them the plans, before you can show them. You can't ask somebody to give you $10 million to dedicate.
That's what they promise us with the Performing Arts Center, and we pay the whole way.
You do your job well, and you shouldn't be criticized for something that the county commissioner does or doesn't do. I shouldn't be criticized for doing things right. Let me answer your question about consultants. If you think I expect to pay $100,000 for a restaurant consultant, you're wrong. I put everything with a line item so that I will not be over budget. I hope that the city of Miami will decide what kind of a restaurant it wants in Bicentennial Park, and that the city will cooperate with us and we'll have a restaurant, and I don't even need that consultant. But what the Performing Arts Center didn't do is budget everything, and so when they did then incur expenses, they were over budget. I expect to be under budget. I have no reason to want to spend $1 that we don't have to spend. But I will not get an answer from the city of Miami, respectfully, or the county for that matter, as to what it wants to do with the restaurant, what it wants to do with parking, and what it wants to do those things. Those are the things that are going to happen in the next months. But if I don't get started and have the architect complete its stuff and start with the fundraising to do something, and I'm not trying to be aggressive here, which I believe the city and the county people have voted 2-1. If you don't realistically, Commissioner, help us do this thing right, it will be another Performing Arts Center. It'll be delayed. The $500,000 a month, this is not an easy job. It is going to be done right. I promise you that I've spent a lot of time with the city manager. He is very tough. He makes us dot the I's and cross the T's. But nobody raises the money all in advance and then builds a project. I have never heard of that in any city in America.
Well, they should. They should, because most of the museums, as you know very well, because you are an expert, are built with private contribution. But yes, it is. It's the county, the people voted for it, and the voters of the city of Miami may have well approved money for the arts and the museum, but these are the same voters that approved 60 projects that today, as we speak, we are going to cancel because of cost overruns and that we need to use the money. So we are denying the people of the city of Miami dozens of projects, minor, mind you, in parks, mostly parks, in the city of Miami, because we have this problem of unexpected situations. So why do we have to rush? I mean, why do we need to rush and give you the $2 million while we just took 60 projects off the charts because we have cost overruns? So, I understand your main source is the county, and they can do whatever they want, although I don't know what they're going to do. But I am not, and I don't know you. I'm sure that you're an expert, and I'm sure that you know how to do things, but I am not going to be a yes vote for in 3 or 4 years we're going to have the Carnival Center, the sequel, because you only have now promises of $35 million, and you know, I don't know if we have so many beautiful people here that can, you know, help with the arts and the museum and the Performing Arts Center. But, you know, I am very troubled to do this. And, you know, if my colleagues want to do it, that's fine by me.
All right, let me allow the gentleman who's been standing here. Yes, sir, your name and address for the record.
Hello, my name is Greg Bush. I direct the Institute for Public History at the University of Miami. And I'm here to raise several questions about the public process about all of this. I don't think there's been enough time to look in detail at the money, certainly by the public. And I don't think there's been enough time to examine the design that's going forward. Outside professionals have not come in adequately. There was, to my knowledge, I know something very early, but one public hearing that I know Commissioner Sanchez and Sarnoff were at, and others, that was totally inadequate, in my view, to really assess the plan. And that was the one public hearing. That's not enough, in my view, to really do the job right, to take a look at the space, to try to consider whether that's the appropriate space. I don't think you need to be wedded to that space, which says nothing against the cultural institutions existing. I don't think also that they've raised the money, as you have intimated, nor are they getting close. We have not seen the money, and without the money, I'm very concerned, as you intimate too, that you got another boondoggle here. And a boondoggle that can be aiding to the wealthy and that won't be helping communities and community groups that come to the space. One final point, and then I will move on. I don't think this has to be considered to be a done deal. I think the public really is interested in this question, and there should be far more public input into this process. And the bond hearing, or the bond issue, I'm sorry, question number 8, if you look at it and read it, and I have it here and don't have time to read it all, it says nothing about Bicentennial Park. So it's really a fraud to assume that the public was voting to put 2 museums in Bicentennial Park, and I think that's real important for people to consider.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, yes.
I just want to add, I know that we're supposed to allow for the public to speak, but I know Commissioner Regalado had a chance. I'd like to at least say something before we get so deep into it. The only reason why I, on my end, was even questioning it before I seconded it was because I wanted to make sure that there was conditions that were put on the monies through the manager's office in regards to this project to make sure that some of those issues are addressed. Now, I do understand, Mr. Potterhurst?
Yes, Commissioner. Potterhurst, thank you.
Potterhurst, that there's a time limit on some of this, and it has a serious fiscal impact on what you're trying to do to get done as far as the project is concerned. But I also do want you to be a little patient for all of us, because quite frankly, you know, we've been hearing this, you know, from the overall public, them having issues with what's happening in the park. So while I understand what your need is to move ahead to make sure the project is not stopping, I also want us to be sensitive to the fact that there are some people that have issues and concerns about it. And as policymakers or individuals that have been elected by the people, we have to take those things into consideration. So my conditions on it for my second was to make sure that, one, there was some sort of accountability, and we've had this discussion, Pete, on the $700,000 that we've already spent, to make sure that, you know, we're not running into a problem, and we're at least on the same page about, you know, what those dollars were used for already. And then the $100 million that was communicated that was necessary in order for the county to provide the dollars that it needed to, and you mentioned today you had $35 million already raised.
And they're not just pledges. The first payments have been made. We have them in the bank. These are 5-year pledges, just like from very important people that you know.
Mr. Potter, this is, again, I'm trying to put out my views and my concerns, and, you know, I think having a world-class park and Bicentennial Park, and I love the arts. That's not even the issue. The issue is we still have to adhere to what people are saying to us from a constituent standpoint. So my recommendation to the city attorney, the city manager, is that $35 million that's already raised, at least make sure from your perspective that money is money that is set aside to address or to support the park going there.